Leo, a fluffy Pomeranian with a tail like a dandelion puff, loved sunny days more than anything. Sunny days meant adventures in the park, and Leo was a professional adventurer. He woke up ready to explore, his little black nose twitching, and his paws ready to pounce on fun. His absolute favorite place in the whole park was the giant, sparkling pond. It shimmered under the sun like a blanket of blue diamonds. Leo loved to sit at the edge, watching the silly fish make bubbly faces and listening to the soft splish-splash of the water against the shore. While trotting along the bank, sniffing the sweet perfume of colorful wildflowers, Leo's perky ears picked up a new sound. Quack, quack, quack! But this wasn't a happy, playful quack. It sounded worried and a little bit sad. Leo's adventure senses started tingling all over. He followed the sound through the tall grass and soon found a beautiful mother duck. We'll call her Mama Quackins. She was pacing back and forth, her feathers all ruffled up with worry. She looked very upset, and Leo's kind heart immediately wanted to help her feel better. Hiding behind Mama Quackins was a wobbly line of the fluffiest, yellowest ducklings you ever did see. They looked like 5 little balls of sunshine, but they were all peeping and cheeping with nervous energy. They were too scared to even dip their tiny webbed toes into the big pond. Leo gave a soft, friendly woof, as if to ask what was wrong. Mama Quackins quacked sadly and pointed her beak across the wide pond. Over on the other side, beneath a shady willow tree, was a wonderful pile of tasty breadcrumbs, a perfect snack for a growing duck family. The pond was the problem. For a big duck like Mama Quackins, it was a fun swimming pool, but for her tiny ducklings, the little waves looked like giant, wobbly mountains. The journey across the sparkling water to the delicious breadcrumbs seemed impossible and very, very scary for them. Leo looked at the 5 worried ducklings, then at the yummy breadcrumbs, and then at Mama Quackins' hopeful face. A true adventurer never gives up on a friend in need. His fluffy tail gave a determined wag. He, Leo the Brave, would find a way to help this family. His first idea was a big green leaf that looked like a little boat. He carefully pushed it into the water with his nose. "All aboard the Leo Express," he barked playfully. He imagined it would be a perfect little raft to float the ducklings safely across the pond to their treat. One brave duckling, Pip, hopped right on, but when his brother Squeak tried to join him, the leaf boat wobbled, jiggled, and tipped right over. Splash! The 2 ducklings tumbled into the shallow water with a surprised peep. This boat was definitely not going to work for the journey. Leo shook his head, sending little drops of water flying from his ears. That idea was a flop. He needed to think bigger and better. His eyes scanned the park for another solution. He saw the tall trees, the green grass, and the colorful playground, but nothing seemed quite right. But then he saw it. Tucked away behind a bush of bright pink flowers was a small, charming wooden bridge. It arched perfectly from one side of the pond to the other. It was the perfect solution. A safe, dry, and sturdy path for the little ducklings to follow. With a string of excited yips, Leo raced back to Mama Quackins. He bounced around her like a furry pogo stick, barking and wagging his tail to tell her about his brilliant discovery. He was so excited he could barely stand still, his whole body wiggling with happy energy. Mama Quackins seemed to understand his happy dance. She gave a hopeful quack and gathered her ducklings. Leo led the way, his fluffy tail held high like a proud flag. He guided the waddling family through the soft green grass, straight towards the little wooden bridge he had found. When they arrived at the bridge, the ducklings stopped. The wooden planks looked strange and felt funny under their little webbed feet. They huddled together at the very beginning, peeping nervously, This was a new kind of scary, and they weren't sure what to do about it at all. Leo knew he had to show them it was safe. He took one brave step onto the bridge, and then another. He looked back at the ducklings and gave them a soft, encouraging woof. His kind eyes seemed to say, "It's okay. It's strong and steady. You can do it." Pip, the brave duckling from the Leaf-Boat Adventure, watched Leo very carefully. He saw that the bridge didn't wobble or shake at all. Taking a deep breath, he took a tiny step, and then another, waddling right up behind Leo's fluffy tail. He was the first to trust his new friend. Seeing that their brother was safe and sound, Squeak and another duckling hurried to follow him. Soon, a little parade was marching across the bridge. Leo the Pomeranian was the proud leader, followed by a perfect waddling line of fluffy yellow ducklings. What a wonderful sight it was. Mama Quackins watched from the grassy bank, her heart full of love and gratitude for the little dog. She quacked proudly as each of her babies made their way across the bridge. She knew that in this small, fluffy dog, her family had found a very special and clever friend. One little duckling was still too scared to move. He stood at the edge, cheeping a sad little song. Leo saw him and trotted all the way back. He didn't bark or rush. He just sat down patiently beside the last duckling, offering his quiet, furry support and friendship. The last little duckling looked up into Leo's kind, dark eyes and felt a sudden surge of bravery. If this fluffy friend was so patient and gentle, then the bridge must be safe. He took a deep breath and waddled onto the planks, staying close to Leo's side all the way. They made it. The entire family was safely on the other side of the pond. The ducklings cheeped with joy and raced towards the pile of breadcrumbs. Mama Quackins walked over to Leo and gave his nose a gentle, thankful nudge with her beak. A special duck thank you. Leo lay in the soft grass, watching the happy family munch on their feast. His heart felt as warm and bright as the sun shining down on the park. He hadn't just gone on an adventure today. He had made new friends and helped them when they needed it most. As the sun began to set, painting the sky in orange and pink, Leo said his goodbyes. Mama Quackins and her 5 ducklings gave him a loud chorus of happy quacks as he trotted away. He would never, ever forget his amazing day as the leader of the Duckling Rescue Parade. Leo's adventure shows that even the smallest act of kindness can make a very big difference. A clever mind and a brave heart can help solve any problem, big or small. What kind of adventures will you have today? For more amazing stories and fun with Leo, be sure to follow our channel.